We advocate for the rights of prisoners on an international level, in which we take the stories and conditions that the prisoners are facing. We'll raise awareness to the issues going on and to the international law violations and human rights violations that are occurring within these prisons, especially after October 7th. Shedding light on the issue of the prisoners, making sure that their voices are heard, taking their stories, and making sure that everybody is made aware of what really is going on within these Israeli occupation prisons. There's in total 9,300 prisoners, and then there are 3,500 administrative detainees. Administrative detention is an order given based on no evidence. So it's not really like a charge given to prisoners, because the evidence against the prisoner is kept in a secret file that only the Israeli prosecutor and the Israeli judge have access to. Children, women, elderly can be charged with administrative detention. There are 250 children in Israeli prisons. Tell me how a child can be a threat to the security of a whole nation and designated as a terrorist. There are women as well in these prisons, pregnant women. There are elderly, even the men that are in these prisons. All that their crime is advocating for Palestine and then resisting the occupation in whatever form that they can. So really any form of resistance is seen as violent resistance to the occupation. Any small action could lead to you being sentenced for 20 plus years. So the prisons that hold the West Bank and occupied territories are under the control of the Israeli prison services. However, the detainees from the Gaza Strip are under the control of the occupation army. They are not under the same system, and many of these Palestinians that are taken from the Gaza Strip are not registered in any system whatsoever. So there is no way to ask about their whereabouts. So family members from Gaza have tried reaching out and asking about the whereabouts of their family members. And while we're able to confirm some of the locations, there are thousands of others that are, again, subjected to enforced disappearance because we have no idea where they are. And when asked, we're told that their name is not in any system, meaning that they could be either dead and then their body was just disregarded somewhere, or they're in unknown locations that are under the control of the occupation army. From October 7th up until recently, the detainees from the Gaza Strip were completely isolated from the outside world. They were not allowed any lawyer visits, of course no family visits, and then no visits as well from the ICRC, from the International Red Cross. Detainees from the Gaza Strip are zip-tied, and then they are as well blindfolded throughout their entire detention, from the moment that they're arrested to the moment that they're released. So they're forced to sleep, eat, move around, use the bathroom, all while being zip-tied and blindfolded. It's said that some Israeli doctor whistleblowers from these camps have come out and said that they were forced to amputate limbs off of detainees because of the effects of the zip ties and how harshly tightened they are. Medical neglect is still on a very high within the prisons. The detainees are not being allowed access to any medical clinic whatsoever, even in very, very serious conditions. On the rare chances that they are taken to see a doctor, if they tell the truth about what had happened to them, there's been many instances where the occupation soldiers will re-enter the clinic and then beat the prisoner again in front of the doctor. A starvation policy is being practiced by the occupation against all detainees. Most of the time, the food is completely not edible, so it could be contaminated with hair, mold. Sometimes it's leftover food of the Israeli criminals. So the detainees from Gaza have said that when they're fed, the Israeli soldier will scoop the food with his hand and then put it on whatever surface or plate is in front of the detainee. So it's completely dehumanizing conditions and treatment. The detainees from the Gaza Strip are forced to curse themselves, are forced to bark like animals, like dogs. They're forced to say all kinds of degrading treatments, not just against themselves, but against their family and against Palestine in general. And they're forced to chant, long live Israel. And basically, they describe everything going on in the prisons as a form of revenge. They just feel like it's against all Palestinians for the events of October 7th, even though many of these detainees were currently in prison during the events of October 7th. So we have, I believe, 19 prisons across the occupied territories. There is only one prison in the West Bank, and all the remaining prisons are illegal under international law because they're in the occupied territories. Up until recently, they've allowed for a few Palestinian lawyers to visit the detainees from Gaza and to actually go to these two military camps that were not previously existing before October 7th. They were actually military bases and then transformed into military camps. So they're not equipped to hold the detainees, and especially the amount of detainees that they are holding. Our office was raided 2 years ago and then designated as a terrorist organization, along with 5 other Palestinian human rights organizations, just for the work that we do, advocating for the rights of Palestinians and making sure that they're treated humanely in these prisons. They ultimately had no basis whatsoever for their claims of designating the 6 organizations as terrorist organization. And then because of our work with the UN, our work internationally, our work with many other organizations across the globe, Addameer has been operating for 30 plus years, and there is no sign of being a terrorist organization. They've arrested employees and human rights defenders and lawyers from other organizations. However, thankfully, Addameer has not. No one has been subjected to arrests yet because there is no evidence. Because they came in, they raided our offices, they couldn't find anything. All of our work is public. Everything that we do, we advocate for it internationally. Nothing we do is hidden. You can't let fear or whatever emotion that you're feeling while doing the job stop you from continuing to do the job. Educating themselves on the conditions of prisoners, reading all the material that we have available on the website, all of our reports that document all of these violations and more, because there's so many that I haven't even gone into yet. Opposing military courts, opposing administrative detention as an order given to Palestinians to collectively punish and control, doing what they can in their realm in advocating for the rights of prisoners and making sure that these military courts are dismantled and these illegal prisons as well are completely dismantled, putting more of a spotlight on Palestinian detainees. If people want to, of course, everybody is welcome to donate. Ultimately, just raising awareness and helping in the cause of completely dismantling the unjust system that the occupation has built. I will continue to love you all, for love is my humble soul victory over my jailer.